Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me for another creative coaching session. Today, we are going to talk to Marrisa Aboa. Marrisa is a virtual assistant and she specializes in Pinterest. And we are going to talk all about how to choose your color palette, how that plays out in your website, and how to let people know that you're an expert in your copy when you're trying to niche down like Marrisa is with Pinterest. Let's get started. Tell me a little bit about your business, just kind of where you are in that. Is it your full-time job? Those types of things.
Okay, first of all, I found you through the Savvy Tech Club by the by Abby Ashley. You had a video there in the online course, and
Yeah.
then I accessed it, and then so you gave me this inspiration about the branding and colors, and then I was so eager when I saw the opportunity that I can have a free consultation from you. Yay!
Yay! Well, I'm glad you're here.
Okay, thank you. And so I am working as a virtual assistant, and I would love to focus on becoming a Pinterest manager as soon as I can. But I'm having difficulty in my blog because I'm not sure if my color palette is connecting to what I want to do or focus, and I'm not sure what else to add or if something is missing, and I would like to ask about the logo as well.
Hmm. Okay.
And
Well, so you don't. So the really great thing is that you have found a niche, something that you really want to do, and then you
mhm,
want to focus on Pinterest, and
mhm,
that's really important because we know that Pinterest helps people build their businesses and gets them lots of traction and clients. So what
mhm,
you really want to do in your copy on your site is focus on the results. Because if you think about who your ideal client is, they're all going to have the same need, which is that they want to use Pinterest to build their business, but they're not really sure how to do it. So, what you want to do is make sure that you tell them specifically what it's like to work with you.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. Uh,
So that way you are letting them know exactly what you do and how you're going to serve them, but you're also walking them through some steps. And when you do that, it makes them feel more confident about hiring you, but it also shows your expertise because you're able to explain it. So, what you want to do is focus on the results that you get for
mm,
people.
should I like provide a detailed list, like a very detailed list of what they could expect from the package that I'm constructing right now?
I would not put a whole bunch of details on the website because people are going to scan. So, really just focus on
Mm,
this is the result. This is what hiring me to do your Pinterest is going to do for you. And then if you have packages, you can kind of list a point, list the price points and sort of what they get. Like maybe you have a package where you put everything together and you kind of teach people so that they can keep doing it themselves. Maybe management, doing it every month for that person is something different. So one part could be developing the strategy and teaching, and the other part could be actually implementation. Um, I do that with social media packages. I don't always manage the social media accounts, but I can get someone
mhm,
completely set up where they can do it themselves and set up the system. So maybe it's something like that, but all the details is what you would want to send out to a person when you're onboarding. So you would want to have a PDF that has really specific information after somebody has contacted you and they're
mhm,
interested in the service that you have. But one of your questions was that how do you make your portfolio part better? And again, you want to focus on results because that's what people are coming to you for. They really want to see those numbers. They want to be able to say, okay, if I spend this money, I'm going to make this much money because these are the results that I get. So instead of having images of the pins that you've made, what you really want to
mhm,
have is a case study. So you want to
mm,
show the results that you've gotten for somebody and how you did that and include a testimonial. That's what you want to have instead of the images because the
mm,
images don't give me results. Like, I can't look at
Okay.
that image and say, okay, well, I'm going to get that result because it doesn't show.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
Um,
I understand.
yeah, so really focus on the results, and having case studies instead of just the images for your portfolio.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and then another question you had was your about page. And this is kind of funny, but even though it's your about page, it's not really supposed to be about you.
Yes, that's
So, I mean, it kind of is and it isn't, but
yes.
what you want to do is still tell people what you do and attract them by explaining to them how your brand story, so how your story actually relates to the service that you provide for them so that they can identify that in themselves. So you could talk about how the thing that you really love to do is help people build their businesses by using Pinterest. And you're really passionate about it because you've seen it get really great results for these customers. And you love this business because it allows you to be able to travel around the world and meet different kinds of people and be that digital nomad that you referenced in your original one. So it's about
Mm-hmm.
mixing in some personal details about you
Mm-hmm.
around tying in the story of what you do and why you do it. So your about page is what you do and why with sprinkles of your own personality.
Okay. And it is not yet done, and so I still need to add more. I have a friend right now. He is a travel blogger,
Uh-huh.
and I asked him if I could help him with his Pinterest account.
Mm-hmm.
And then in exchange for that, he will have to recommend me to his friends.
Uh-huh.
So I would like to pursue like a case study on his blog and Pinterest account so that I can put it on my blog.
Right. So having that on your website is great. And then whenever
Mm-hmm.
you make the PDF that explains more about the packages that you have and what you offer,
Mm-hmm.
you can also include the case study there. So you'll have a PDF case studies, put your case studies, even if you just have one to start with. And then the PDF that explains your packages more. And that's also a place where once you get someone on the phone and they want to use you to help them with Pinterest, they'll ask you other questions like, well, could you also do this or do you do this? And you can say, yeah, sure, I
Mm-hmm.
do, which are the alsos and others, because a lot of times when people really niche down, they're afraid that as we're building our business, we want to make money, obviously, and you may be
Mm-hmm.
afraid that you're going to lose people, but you want really being really specific like that, you're going to pull people in, and then they'll probably ask you to do other things too. So just knowing like what other things you could do probably in the social media realm or different things like that.
Oh.
Yeah, so you kind of want to have an idea because people will ask you about that even though you're specifically targeting Pinterest. um, and
Mm-hmm.
then I would make a list of any question that somebody may
So,
ask you about
mm-hmm.
Pinterest and start
Mm-hmm.
writing blog posts about every one of those things
Okay.
because that's going to help
Mm-hmm.
you build up your expertise and help you attract more clients.
Mm-hmm. Been listening to a another Pinterest manager the other day via Facebook live session,
Mm-hmm.
and she mentioned that she's only offering one package because she wants to simplify everything, and because of that, she's able to focus on just one thing. So, but prior to that, I have three packages. Like
Mm-hmm.
I have this. The names are Pinterest Startup, Pinterest Makeover, and Pinterest Prime.
Okay.
Should I go with it or just uh, put all of them together in just one package?
Okay, I think that you should keep the three packages, and this is why. Um, you still have to establish yourself because you're a new business. If you had a
Mm-hmm.
really big, social media following, or you already had established your business and you were going to shift and pivot into something different, then
Mm-hmm.
having just one premier service would make a lot of sense. But since you're new and you're trying to get more experience and you want to build up your case studies and those type of things, I think having three services is going to be better for you. And what you want to do is price them where there's a pretty good difference between each package. And we know that statistically, people are going to go for the middle package. So
Mm-hmm.
that's something to think about when you're trying to write out those services and do the prices. You want to make them different enough that they really stand out and not so similar
Mm-hmm.
that it's only a difference of like one or two services or, a couple of $100s. You want to really make them different. So that third package would be everything you can do for a person. That middle package would be what most people need, which is still a premium service. And your first package would be just the basics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
I
don't,
understand
yeah.
that. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know all the different things that you offer, but even if you just make a list, even if you just list them all out and then try to decide like which ones would be grouped better.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think having some different options would be better for you right now to be able to get more experience and more customers. Because when you ask for
Uh,
that top premium price,
mm-hmm.
you've got to have the reach, and be able to reach a large amount of people and be able to have the experience of selling and showing people the benefits that you can give and those type of things to actually be able to get them to commit to that top level price. So it's going to be a
Okay.
little harder for you at this stage in your business to be able to do that.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah. Um, some questions that you had about color.
Yes. So I was able to search three colors that I would love that I'm already using for my blog,
Okay.
and it's it's like blue, red, and green. Do you think they work fine or not?
Blue, red, and green will work together. You just have to have the right color combination. So, what I would do
Uh-huh.
is get on Pinterest and find a picture that has those colors in it, and then you can sample the colors and use those hex values in your website because I know you have a Squarespace site or in any kind of other materials that you want. But here's the thing about color when it comes to design is that you want to think about where you're going to use the color because we can get kind of caught up in thinking like I love this color palette and is it going to work and stuff like that, but
Mm-hmm.
it's where and how you use the color. So you'll need either a really contrast color like a bright color, I call it color pop, a bright color, or a darker color that you'll use for your type and your headlines. And you need a color that you're only going to use for your buttons and your hyperlinks.
Oh, okay. So color
Okay.
pop, and then darker color for
Uh-huh.
headlines.
So color pop for your buttons and a
Mm.
darker color or just a separate contrast color to use for your headlines. And then you're going to need a neutral color that you can use like a light gray or something that's really neutral for backgrounds so that you can start to
Oh,
pull out different sections of your site. But what you
okay.
yeah, so you don't want to have you're not going to need to have like every section of your site be a different color. You want to kind of pick like one main color and one neutral. And maybe you only use neutrals and then you use your color pop and your dark your other color for your headlines and things like that.
Okay.
So you can have a wide palette, but maybe you use some of those colors in your logo, but then you have, part of the palette you just use for specific things. So you're not always
Okay.
trying to use every
Mm.
color because that could get kind of crazy. But You don't have to have as many colors as you think that you do.
Okay. So I have, so yeah, I'm currently using red for the buttons,
Hmm.
and um, I read somewhere that if you're deciding for color palette on your website, that white and black uh, are not considered. I mean, you should think of another color, or should I remain with black for the headlines?
You can definitely use black for your headlines, and
Mm-hmm.
um, in my opinion, white is a color because especially when you have a site that has a lot of content, you need white to give there enough to make the page have enough space that people can actually read. And I
Okay.
think about white as a directional color. So
Ah,
if you imagine that it was flat and you put a marble on the website, like could it move and turn in between things? You always want to have enough space because that's what leads the person's eye throughout your page.
okay.
That's another reason why you want to pick one color to use for buttons and one color to use for your headlines, is because when a person looks at it and they see that color, they always know it's a button. You're setting up a system that it makes it easier to read because people scan sites. You don't really read that much. You kind of scan until you find what you want to read. So by having those color systems, you're able to make your site more readable and scannable, which is more readable.
Okay. So on my blog, I'm using blue, and then so are you saying that I should just think of a neutral color to replace the green and blue part?
Let's see. I'm pulling up your site right now. So
Okay.
let me get to your blog section.
Okay. I'm currently on the homepage.
Okay.
Wait, let me.
Yeah, so on your homepage right now, you have um, there's a blue block that has type in it, and then when you scroll down, there's a green block that has type. But
Yes.
if your site is really sectioned off and it's not really, it doesn't have any hierarchy to it. So when I look at this, it's a lot of type, and you have like some things are bolded and some things are red, but to the eye, it looks like one big thing of type, and I don't know where to look.
Oh.
So
So how? Hmm.
hierarchy is how we direct someone throughout our site, but it makes some things show in more importance than others. So the other thing about having your headline is you want to pick one font for your headlines. That could be that it's always capital, it could be the type size, but you want your headline type to be bigger and different than the rest of your body type so that it stands out. That's one thing that would help you. I think that you are hoping that the color is going to do that, but it's going to take more than just the color. So it's going to be kind of changing up the structure of the site, making um, some different paragraphs and having some larger headlines and smaller body type to kind of break up all the copy so that people
Oh,
can,
okay.
can scan through it and look at the site. And if you're really struggling, just look at a site that you like and notice the things that I just told you in their site,
Mm-hmm.
and then use that as kind of a model or a guideline for what to do in your own site.
Okay.
So that could help.
Yes.
And
Yes, I understand.
you're
I
gonna
was.
need.
Hmm.
I would suggest adding some photos, even if it's just one, to kind of also break up the copy. Um, and the other thing is,
I'm kind of I like photos,
uh-huh.
but I'm, I, I don't know where to find the right picture for the color palette that I have right now.
Okay.
Like, for example, I want a table. What if the table is the color is very different to blue and green? Then I don't know how to integrate it to my site. So,
Hmm.
what color of the image should I add to my site? Like just black and white, or should I look for something with blue and green as well?
Well, I think for a photo, I would just pick something that's really neutral because
Okay.
you have the first part of your site says, are your pins getting the attention they deserve? Optimize your Pinterest account with an efficient Pinterest manager.
Mhm.
So that would actually
So,
be your
mhm,
positioning statement.
okay.
But it's a
Oh, wait.
little it's a little
So,
too it's a little too much. So if you put a really neutral picture behind that instead of the blue, then you can start your color system with buttons are in red. You could make your headlines. You could use either the green or the blue, and you pick whatever color you don't use as a background color for different sections of the site.
um,
I'm
so,
also I'm going to send you a worksheet that tells you how to get a color palette. And I think it'll help you because I know I'm telling you a lot of stuff right now, but it
oh,
kind of like outlines it.
can I show you something? Wait. I found this image and I really like it, but I don't know how to, what do you call it? I don't know how to find inspiration
Hmm.
to move forward with it. Let me just find that image. Where is it? I like this one.
Okay.
Yes, I love the wood
Hmm.
stats, and then or it's neutral, but I'm afraid of using this kind of colors because most Pinterest users are women, and women are more drawn to like pastel colors, pink, light blue, light green. That's why I chose light blue and green on my site right now because I Google search the other day and I found out that women like blue color. So okay, my target audience would be mostly women, so I should focus on blue. But I really love the first image. It's grounded. It's like I don't know. I'm drawn to it, but I don't know how to. I mean, this is just one image, and I don't know how to put it all together in other parts of my site or. I,
Okay, so this image has warm tones with it's got a wood, the wood in the background, kind of a rustic wood, and then the
mm,
cup and the computer, but everything is not it's not a stark white bright photo. It's a warm kind of rustic feeling photo. So would you say that this photo is your style? Like would you say this is your brand style? Not what do you think people want, but what you like?
I like it, but but it's not about me. It's all about my future clients. So,
But
but I would love to. Hmm?
your struggle is that it's hard for you to do something that you really don't like. It's hard for you, but okay, I'm going somewhere with this. Just stick with me. Um,
Okay.
okay, so yes, it's true that you want to appeal to your customers and the things that they
Yes.
like, but
Yeah.
but it this is your website and it's
Mhm.
one picture and they're not hiring you to do that design for them. They're hiring you
Yeah.
to do their own stuff in Pinterest. They want to know about the numbers. They want to know about the
Yeah.
results. So you're giving yourself a really hard time trying to make yourself like this blue and stuff that you really maybe don't like. You don't have to like it. Um, I think use that picture if you want to and come up with colors that go with that. Another way to really balance the kind of warm rustic feel of that is to let yourself have plenty of white space so that the site still feels light and not heavy.
Oh yeah, I love that. It feels like I don't like too much colors. I
Yeah.
prefer just black and white, but I'm afraid that I wouldn't get a lot of clients because they might not like my style. If I could have it my own way, it would just be black and white. Or
Okay, well, you see the wall behind me. Obviously, I like
yes,
black and white, so I get you.
but
But
I love. Mhm.
what I would do is if you really like that picture, just use it. Just use the picture. Let most of your site be white with, your black type, and then you need to pick your button
Beige.
color, which I don't know if I would use red with this color palette. Pick a warm neutral, like something that's almost white. It's somewhere in between white and yellow, so it's that kind of like that really warm. I hate to say beige. I think I just don't even like the word beige, but
Yeah,
something
I
that's
don't like it either.
I don't want to say beige, but something that's a warmer color. And
Hmm.
I will send you a pre-made color palette today or tomorrow
Wow.
that's pre-done that uses a lot of those colors. And I think that when you see it, it'll kind of all make sense to you that you can use black and white and you can have that kind of contrast and stuff that you like without it looking masculine or heavy.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to
That,
be that way.
yes, that's another word that I don't want to convey. I've it's too masculine maybe, but it's not. It's just I don't think it's too masculine. It's just I like it. I
Yeah.
mean,
It doesn't have to be pastels. And I don't think that you have to use red because Pinterest is red. I don't think any of that stuff. I think I'll send you a color palette, use that picture, and work on trying to organize your copy on your website so that there's some, like we talked about, some hierarchy. And
mm,
another thing you can do is your positioning statement. So the first thing, like what you tell people you do, um, I think making that smaller, like helping people double their businesses using Pinterest, something that's a little bit more specific so that people can read
oh,
it just like that. And
so you mean I should remove the remove the with an efficient Pinterest manager? Should I remove that?
that can be somewhere else in your copy, but it's a little bit much to read. Like you only have just such a small, 0.08 seconds to like grab somebody's attention and just give it to me straight. Just tell me what it is. Double my business with Pinterest. That's what I want to hear. You know
Okay.
what I mean? Like just
Yes.
why they're there. Just give it to them straight and then you have your call
Yeah.
to action, which is perfect. The let's chat. And just take the blue out, put the other picture in, and you can use the color palette that I'll send to you, give you some help, kind of working the rest of it out. And so, okay, so reorganize the front with hierarchy on your website. Um, you're going to have a new color palette that's already done for you. And on your blog, you want to make a list of all the questions that people ask you and start writing a lot of posts about that. Um,
Like you mean FAQ?
not FAQ, but to give you ideas of how to, because the more you talk about Pinterest, the more people are going to share the things that you've said about Pinterest, the more you're going to be known
Mm,
as an expert and getting more clients,
okay.
since that is what we really want to do.
So what? Last question.
Mhm.
What about the first two sentences. The first one is, are your pins getting the attention they deserve? And then optimize your Pinterest account. Do they go well together? Or
I mean, I like that part of your copy, but I don't think that it is to the point enough to be that's your most prime real estate of your website. That's the part where you really pull people in and have your opportunity, and you have to make the most out of it. Um, so you would really want to move that down into a different part of your site when you're talking about what you do. But when somebody looks at it and that's too much for them to have to read. People just, it's got to be more quick and to the point. Tell me exactly what's happening here.
oh, so maybe just maybe remove one of them, like just optimize your Pinterest account.
Um, Optimize your Pinterest account is it's not focusing on the result. And that doesn't tell me
Mm,
exactly what it is because that's kind of the problem when you are used to what you like, exactly what that means, but your
yeah.
customer doesn't know. They may not
Yes.
even know what optimization means because I could say I can optimize your images and I know what that means. It means I make them really small so they load on your website fast, but that probably doesn't mean
Yes.
anything to you. It
Yeah.
may or may not. Like, I have the same issue with branding. Like, I know what branding means, I'm super passionate about it, but I realize that that could mean so many different things to so many different people. So, optimize your Pinterest account. It's not wrong, it's just not specific enough. Think about what people want to hear. They want to hear more clients, more money, making my life easier. Like those are all things that as people that own businesses, that's what we all want. And you're offering this to them in the form of Pinterest. So just stay really focused on the results of what you can do for them.
Okay.
Okay, and then we talked about your about page. So trying to tie in what you do
Mhm.
with, sprinkle in a little bit of yourself and your brand story. So your why you do this. And we also talked about your portfolio, and I suggested that
Yes.
you change that around to do more case study so that, again, people can see the results of what you can do for them.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have a lot of homework, and I'm I'm thinking right now what kind of color should I replace the button. Of course, it's not red, but it's I don't like beige either.
I don't like beige either. I'm going to help you out with the colors. I'm going to send you a worksheet and some pre-made color palettes that you can look at and see if, that'll help you kind of figure it out. That's going to work with that picture. Because I
Maybe
mean, you got a
rose.
starting part. You have a starting point, something that you do like.
Yes,
Um,
maybe. Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, I'll help you out. And then you can email me if you have any kind of questions, if I can help you figure that out some more. But it may seem like you have a lot to do, but you're just starting and you're in that figuring it out part of your business, and it can be really overwhelming. But the best thing is that you already have your niche. Like usually people start out and they try lots of different things, and it could take years to kind of figure out what it is that you want to zero in on, but you already know it's Pinterest. Um, so that's really great for you.
Yes, and mhm. I've been really looking a lot of websites of other Pinterest managers, and all of them are using red.
Are they?
Yeah, and so that's why I'm using red
Stuck
as
in your
well.
head.
But yeah,
Well, if you do use red, I mean, it's not a bad thing. I mean, you can always shift the color a little bit. Like you could make it a darker color. You could make it more in the orange family, so it could be a red orange if you wanted
mm,
to. Just kind of change it up a little bit. But I mean, red is fine, but I don't think you should feel like you have to do that,
Yes, yeah.
especially if you don't like it.
It looks nice, but maybe something else.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'll send you some different color palettes and things, and you can look at those, and I think that might help you to see some different options. And it has a mood board with it, so you can see visually kind of what those things look like together. But I think it'll help you out.
Um, can I ask you a few more questions? Just
Sure.
maybe two. Is it too much? The after the headline, I've created like I think the I've created a compelling statement why my prospective clients would want to use Pinterest. I type here Pinterest is perfect for online entrepreneurs and bloggers. It is a powerful keyword searcher, marketing tool, and can be used to expand your business and social media reach. Blah, 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 blah. Is it too much, or should I just remove it?
No, I don't think that you should move it. It's about maybe putting
Hierarchy.
yeah, it's about hierarchy, like putting it in a column or something so it's not stretched
Yeah.
across the whole thing and give me some titles, some things that I can search through the site. Like um let's say you have two clients. One client absolutely knows they need to use Pinterest and know all about it. They think it's awesome. They just don't know what to do. They don't know how to make it work for them. Your other client um, could be a person who has heard of Pinterest. They know it's good, but they're not educated enough to really understand what it's going to do, like the results that it could have. So one person totally understands the results and how powerful it is. The other person has heard about it, but they don't know all the same things. So one person needs to be educated on what Pinterest can do for them. The other person just needs to be educated on what you specifically can do for them.
Hmm.
Does that kind of make sense?
It makes sense. And
So
actually,
your
my
your
my three
titles
packages.
your titles could be
Hmm.
something like why Pinterest or um let me double your reach or something like that so that you have and then have that copy underneath there. But really think about those the kinds of clients that you have and I'm guessing, like I said, that one is going to know everything about Pinterest but not how, and the other person is not going to know that everything that Pinterest can actually do for them.
Yes, I have packages for both type of clients.
Okay.
The first one is just the first package is for someone who doesn't have Pinterest account.
Mm-hmm.
The third one is for someone who has an existing Pinterest account but is messy, unorganized, and needs a lot of update. And the third one is the one who wants really to excel and wants to reach a lot of click throughs
Yeah.
and saves of Pinterest pins.
Okay. Um, I mean that sounds really good to me. So you have the person that has never gotten started, the person that got
Yeah,
started because they knew that they should, but they have
yes,
no idea what to do, and the
yes,
person who knows what it can do and needs you to actually implement the
yeah,
systems. Okay, that sounds good. I mean, so then it's really about being able to pull those specific customers in, but on your homepage to get them to look at the packages that you have. So, um, I'm trying to think. You need the right headlines to then do the copy. So maybe start there with the headlines first, and then fill in the copy underneath. Um,
Headline is Okay, the first part, right? And the
Yeah,
copy is, yeah,
is
okay.
the body text. So
Mm-hmm.
the headline could be, let me show you how Pinterest can double your reach, or how Pinterest will make you more money, or something like that. And underneath it would talk about how Pinterest does that, and then have a link to your case studies. Um, Another thing you can do is think about the questions that people have actually asked you about Pinterest, and use
Mm-hmm.
that language in your copy so that you're speaking directly to the fears, to the concerns, to the pain points that those people have. So if
Mm-hmm.
somebody says, my Pinterest is a total mess because I didn't know, I knew I needed Pinterest, but then I didn't know what to do with it. Or I started a Pinterest account because I love Pinterest and now I realize I can use it for my business, but I don't know how to make the switch. Like when people tell you those kinds of things, and you can turn that around and use that in your copy. If you started a Pinterest account, but now you need to get serious, this package is for you. Like those kind of things.
Mm-hmm. And thank you so
You're
much.
so welcome. Well, I'm gonna